Hi, Allie. How are you? Can you hear me? Good. Library looks awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Karen.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hi, Allie. I've been sending the link to everyone on our staff because I think it went to everyone's trash.
It's very odd.
So odd. And I tried to get IT. They can't figure it out either. So, but once actually now getting them. So I don't know if they have to reset it on everyone's individual email or, or what.
Right. I'm gonna ask about RN too, because I know with Allie's, she was not receiving some of my
Yeah, as a
stuff
matter
when
of
we
fact,
corresponded.
our executive vice president just called me. She said, I didn't get the link. And I went, oh God, I just sent it to everybody. So
Yeah,
it'll work.
thanks for doing that. Yeah, I'm not
No.
sure what's going on,
I
but
wonder if it went to spam or something.
It did. It went to everyone's spam in our agency. I don't know what that was about.
yeah.
And as I said, I think they have to unspam it or whatever they do, whitelist it individually. I don't know. I'm going to call them.
It may be because it went out to so many people as a reminder, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's flagged. Yeah.
It even happened though when I was emailing Allie last week. She was not receiving my emails. So, and she has my email and her address or whatever. So I don't know if it's
I don't
maybe
know.
all of them blocking it.
Well,
but
I'm going to find out for future because I think there's so many wonderful things that you send out and so many, whether it be webinars or just information that I think our whole staff would be interested in that, and they may want to join themselves as members individually or whatever they want to do. So whatever.
Speaking of that, Karen, oh, by the way, I'm Meredith.
I know. Hi, Meredith. I'm
Hi.
Karen.
Do you know what we're doing? So we just finished a year-long needs assessment.
I already registered.
Amazing.
Not only did I register, but Robin and I, my clinical director, we were on one of the focus groups.
Oh,
we
thank
participated. It was just the two of us that day, though. That was what was so funny. It was the two of us, and then whoever was doing the research or the.
Was it Deborah maybe or?
Well, Lori was on, and then it was somebody else, and I don't remember who. To be honest, it was someone I want to. Was she in Florida? Is that possible? Did I make that up?
Yes. What's her name? I'm blanking on her name. Yes, someone who's with like a JFS or something in Florida, I think.
I don't know, but
yeah.
So anyway, I did sign.
Yeah.
So I did register for it. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it will be very, very helpful and interesting and informative and inform maybe some of our services.
That's what we're hoping we have. And I'll just share with you all the roundtables we're having following, because we're going to take all the different needs and then pull together some experts and say like,
perfect.
Okay, here are our thoughts for next steps.
Right.
Do they work? Do they not? Like, we definitely want to, we're not just going to be like, here's the report. It's
right.
All right, now what do we do about it?
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So hot. I'm taking off. I was wearing a jacket because I thought it would, I'm too hot. I can't do it.
What's the weather in LA?
It's actually miserable today, and I'm so happy. I'm embarrassed to tell you, I'm sick of sunshine. We need some rain and misery here.
We just had a couple of rainy days, and I'm starting to see all these little flowers pop up. Is it like you notice because of COVID? Because I'm not just like spending my days like running back and forth.
Right, exactly.
And I'm in my backyard. I'm like, oh, what is that growing?
That reminds me when I was younger, I grew up in New York, and I used to wait for the daffodils to come up because that was the sign of spring. I remember that so distinctly. Oh my gosh, that threw me back many years just now.
Oh my gosh.
And by the way, it's okay, I hope, that when I say a few words, I wrote it out so I could kind of read it, because otherwise I won't know what I'm saying, but that's okay.
Alejandra, hi. I feel like, you look so familiar. Were you, oh, you were part of the event we did a couple weeks ago. Yeah, thank you for that.
Allie is our man who we couldn't have the shelter without her. Hi, Gabby.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Gabby is one
Hi,
of
Gabby.
our
Hi.
clinicians at JFS Hope and works with the women and children at the shelter where the library is. So she'll be speaking to that as well. So we're excited. Gabby, you're the only one that has that JFS background. I asked our admin people, they had no idea about it.
Oh, I can send it to you.
Please do.
I'll send it to you.
I
Yeah.
love the
I don't know if
color.
I'll use it right now, but just in general, I was like laughing. Everyone said, oh, I don't think we have one. And I thought, well, I think Gabby.
Meanwhile, does my screen looks like hazy? Are you seeing that? Or no?
A little, but I have a,
Should I log off and log back on?
no, it's not that hazy. No, it's not.
Not noticeable.
No, I would like that haze from my face. You know how they put Vaseline?
Well, that's what I was like adjusting. There's a filter on
Exactly.
Zoom.
Yes.
And I was like, do I have that filter on too, Evelyn?
Well, don't laugh. I did have it on and I had to do something for our agency. And she said, could you take your filter off? Because it must have been so obvious that there was this like.
While you guys are on, we're the philanthropy for ZBT and SDT, fraternity and sorority. And
I was an I was an A5, so I don't know.
So the students asked if they could start like filming videos of themselves reading their favorite children's books.
Oh,
And
is
then
that
we would make that
cute?
available to you all, and like, however you wanted to show, be like a virtual bank of story time.
Oh, that would be so fabulous.
Great. Okay.
That would be incredible.
Good. All right. I'm going to let them know that that's something, because we were like,
Okay.
if the kids are not going to commit to the training that's needed to go and actually do a story time. So we're like, this is easy. They'll feel connected.
And plus, yeah, exactly. Oh, no, that's fantastic.
Terrific.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Sorry,
Lori.
a couple minutes late. How are you? Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi. Hi,
Look.
Gabby.
Oh, yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
And
You're muted. There you go.
I'm
great.
so well trained from our staff meetings, Karen. Come in and mute yourself. That's it.
Yeah,
Can you imagine when we're
Hi,
back in
Allie.
person? We'll just be like,
I know.
mute yourself.
yeah. Let me just say hi to Allie, our incredible, indomitable, astoundingly wonderful partner in this project. So, Meredith,
Beyond.
I was talking to Allie and Karen the other day, and I was saying that we rarely get the option to partner with a JFS, and how meaningful it is to us to be able to partner with a JFS. It's especially meaningful to our donors.
And I was going to say, Lori, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I will speak to that when I speak.
Oh,
Just-
wonderful.
Yes, I took your lead for sure. So
That's great. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Great.
And we were talking before you came on. I didn't realize that Karen had already helped with our needs assessment that we just completed.
Lori, that was when we met that you didn't remember. I didn't take it too personally. Robin and we met with someone from in Florida and you. And we
How
did,
long ago was this?
well, when did you do the focus groups? It was a focus group that ended up just, there were 3 of us on it.
See, I don't think it was me.
You don't?
No, Meredith, I wasn't involved in the focus groups on this needs assessment.
Meredith, was it you? Oh my gosh, now I'm losing my mind.
I didn't do the focus group. I think it was Deborah. Deborah was,
Oh, might have been Deborah,
it would have been Deborah, shorter hair.
probably.
Yeah.
All right, I take it back, Lori. I apologize.
Yeah. No, listen, you sent me this note like right before Shabbat, and I was like just sort of having one of those Shabbat like quiet moments. And I was thinking and thinking and thinking, and I had this like moment where I thought, maybe I'm losing my mind. So,
I apologize on all fronts.
no, that's good. I'm glad we figured it out. Yeah. So, the needs assessment has a big like rollout planned.
Yes, I was telling Meredith, I registered as soon as I got that notice yesterday, as did Robin. And I'm hoping that it will inform some, new services or different way to have service delivery or any of the above. But
So I'm also thinking then that the Robin you referred to, who was Robin Altman, is also a member of our JWI board. But you must be speaking of a different Robin Altman.
different Robin. Isn't that funny? It's a different Robin Altman. Yeah.
And that's why I thought to myself, I wonder if you guys are old friends because you spoke about her so, with knowledge and informality. And I thought, I am really missing a boat on this. So anyway, Allie, I'm really happy to see where you are because I know it's in the library.
Oh, look, did you guys do like stencils on the walls?
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It's a whole Dr. Seuss journey of stenciling that Allie put up
I'm putting my
there.
glasses on to say
Yeah.
it. Oh, now I see. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I love that.
And quick question about this is, Allie, is there anyone who's in there with you or is it just you in there? You're muted, I think.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Right now it's just me. My staff, I figured I wouldn't be able to cut the ribbon and show the camera at the same time. So I'm have my staff cut the ribbon. I'll
Okay. So I don't know if you and Murray talked about just doing a sort of a trial tour, and we're probably a little bit late for that now anyway. But one thing that we noticed from our last call is that people really need to be close to the mic. Otherwise, it's difficult to hear, even when you're like doing the little tour. I just noticed really as you were speaking that you were breaking up a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, we only can do the best we can do, right?
Yeah, no, I'll try my best. I am downstairs and the internet server is upstairs. I'm trying to use the internet from my phone and whoever is stronger.
This is good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
Okay.
great. Can hear you.
Okay, good.
Great. This is great. And Karen, you could be a library with those
Well,
beautiful.
that's why I chose that.
Is that your backdrop?
It's a virtual background. It is not my home. I do have this kind of shelving, but I couldn't sit in front of it. So I chose this. I thought, okay, well, it looks library-like or whatever.
We laughed because the best Zoom we had the whole year of all the library meetings and different projects that we were doing was when Allie showed up one day and her backdrop was the most beautiful hotel room. Everything was so tidy and in order. It looked nothing like my house, I can tell you that. And I just dreamed of being there. And so at the end, I ventured to ask if that was where she was staying or, a little book for kids. And so she said, no, it was a backdrop, but it was beautiful.
I was on a call with someone recently and again, looked like this gorgeous, gorgeous room. She stood up and like the outline of where she had been was the messiest room you had ever seen. And I was like, okay, note to self, if I ever do that, like stay still.
Okay, one last question because I know we're getting close to the time. Allie, are you speaking first and then Karen? And then
Yes.
Gabby? No.
No, I'm speaking first, then Allie, then Gabby, right, Murray?
Yes. That's
Yeah.
what,
Okay, okay, all right.
okay. I'm gonna go ahead and broadcast it, and Meredith, just give it about 20 seconds before you.
Welcome, welcome everyone to this incredibly happy, special moment in a year that's really been anything but. I'm Meredith Jacobs, CEO of Jewish Women International, and welcome to the ribbon cutting of our newest children's library. I say there are so many little gifts that this year has brought, which is a funny way of thinking about this past year. But I remember when my journey with JWI started for me as a member of JWI's board. And I remember Lori, my incredible predecessor and our CEO Emerita, inviting me to go to the opening of one of our children's libraries. And for the life of me, I can't remember why I wasn't able to attend, but I regretted it ever since, because I truly believe that the children's libraries we build in domestic violence shelters across the country are one of our most important and special projects that we do at JWI. And so today, I get to be here virtually along with all of you. So I can't wait to see the work in action and the books on the shelves. And I don't want to take up any more time. With that, I'm going to turn things over to Lori and let's get things started. But thank you for being here.
Thank you, Meredith, and thank you everyone who is joining us on the call. And thank you to this really special partnership with our newest project, our newest LA project, Hope Transitional Shelter, which is part of JFS LA. And it's very special for us, and we are all so thrilled that a year after we first started talking to Allie about creating a library at the transitional program in LA, we are there, we are here, and today we are dedicating that space. The thing that I think about in these libraries is my own personal history, and that is that many years ago, when I was starting out in my own career, I worked in a domestic violence shelter coordinating direct services. And while we at that time had programs for women, we had virtually no programs for children, and kids were being uprooted, moved to the shelter. The transition to a new school was hard enough. So many of these processes have changed over time, but we had to invent a program for the children. We had no money, no funding to do it. And so we created a small corner where we would run the children's program. We had about 11 books. Of those 11 books, they had probably been read 203 times each. And that, as we described earlier, what we would find is we would be reading the book, and then all of a sudden we would come to 3 pages that had been torn out, or 4 pages that had been scribbled over with some child's creativity and imagination, but it made it impossible for us to keep reading the book. And so I left that experience and went on to do other work. But when I got to JWI, I knew, as an organization dedicated to ending violence against women and girls, doing programmatic work, doing advocacy, really championing an issue, there was an opportunity for us to give back to the shelters and the programs and the families and the staff that were doing the work every day to lift families out of trauma and perilous life situations and move them to a harbor of safety. And that first harbor of safety we knew could be a children's library. So we launched the project with an ambitious goal. We were going to build 100 libraries in 5 years. Well, I can tell you it's many more than 5 years later, and we've built lots of libraries. In fact, more than 80 at this point, and we're working our way to that 100 goal, and we hope we're going to hit it in the next 3 years, thanks to tremendous generosity. But these libraries mean everything to us. They are our way of giving back and paying it forward and moving an agenda to end violence against women and girls, and to stop it for the next generation, to do the best that we can. I want to say one other thing before I turn this over to our incredible partners, and I'm going to underscore the word partnership. These libraries are absolutely a partnership. We don't go into a library and say, hey, we're just going to build this, but we create a relationship with our programs, with the shelters, with the directors of the programs, and we work together, identifying space, making a commitment, what we're going to do and what the program is going to do to maintain and upgrade and support these libraries over time. With each library, we get better and better at our partnership and at the work that we're doing collaboratively. And just this year, Meredith initiated a philanthropic add-on that enabled us in the time of COVID to provide more technology resources for the shelters. And so that included adding more Chromebooks for kids who are working remotely, and adding boosters for those programs that needed additional firepower from the internet. So it is an amazing partnership. And at the end of the day, this project takes a whole village. Beyond our partnership of our organizations, we've had incredible support from a number of people. I just want to give a quick shout out to those people who helped make this project, taking it from a dream to a reality in so many cities and communities. Thank you to our wonderful vendor partners, and that would be Fred Goodman, First Book, Amazon, all have been generous supporters of the National Library Initiative in the last few years. And to individual donors who have really stepped up to support this National Library Initiative. Many thanks to Rivka Yerushak Ami, Susie and Bruce Turnbull, Vivian and Ray Bass, Marilyn and Steph Tucker, Julie Bender Silver and the Bender Foundation, Dina and Larry Silver and the Clearwater chapter, and Meryl Frank. And then finally, I want to do a big shout out to our lead donor on the National Library Initiative for these final libraries. And that is the Wagner Brownsburg Family Foundation and Liz Wagner. So our enormous gratitude to all for this incredible work. And I am so happy that we are joined today as well by staff from Senator Feinstein's office, who can really, will really get a chance to tour one of the newest JWI libraries. I think in total we have 4 or 5 now in California. So I'm so excited. And I add only one comment. I am reminded of something that was very meaningful to me as I was stepping down as the CEO and thinking about these past 20 years with the organization. And I realized that the phrase work is love made visible was probably the most meaningful phrase in my own work life. But I can't think of a place that it has been more meaningful than these libraries and the National Library Initiative. So I am so happy to thank everyone who's been part of this partnership and the hundreds of donors that have stepped up and additional partners to get us where we are today. And that is our very first virtual ribbon cutting day, an event. And so we're going to pull this off virtually. And I hope at the end, people will feel that they have had a chance to see it, to be it, to experience it. I'm now going to turn this over to Karen Rosenthal, who is JFS's Senior Director of Children and Families. And she's going to lead off the JFS team of speakers. And we're so happy, Karen, to have you and Allie and Gabby here today. And of course, a special shout out to Allie and to Murray, both whom this shelter wouldn't be here today without the two of you. So thanks, Karen.
Okay, well, good afternoon. And on behalf of Jewish Family Service Los Angeles and Hope Transitional, the staff and our clients, thank you to Meredith, to you and to Lori and to everyone at JWI. We are thrilled, we're honored to be part of the National Library Initiative this year and to have a JWI library at our shelter. To me, it seems like a natural partnership as both JWI and JFS empower women, children, and teens to be the best they can be. Both organizations recognize and value the dignity of all and know that caring for each other makes a community stronger. We serve the entire community, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, gender, age, or sexual identity. And although we respect each individual and we serve through that trauma-informed lens, we are based in our Jewish values and we never forget that. A little known fact about that you might find interesting is that JFS Hope, originally, by the way, it was known as Family Violence Project until about 2 years ago. It was born out of a thesis written by two young Jewish women in 1984. And the topic was domestic violence in the Jewish community. At that time, a secret well kept. With the support, though, of JFS, their thesis informed the formation of a small counseling center in 1987. Follow up in 1995 with our shelters that we acquired. And here we are today with 3 shelters and 2 robust counseling centers. So before I go and hand off the program to Allie and Gabby, I want to tell you and mention something that happened because of your wonderful library, kind of a byproduct of it. A local synagogue heard that we were the lucky recipients of this, and their preschool every year does a book drive and a book sale. And so they called and they said, you know, we'd really love to help fill that JWI library. So this year, come mid-May, we should get hopefully a van full, if not baskets full of new books for our library for children of all ages. So not only was the library a wonderful addition to our shelter, but it's helped to open doors to other community collaborations. So I thank you for that. And I'm so excited, more than anything, to be honest, for me personally, I'm excited to see the faces of the children as they enter their special place, a place where books can take them to worlds beyond their imagination and open up their minds to their hopes and their dreams. So for all of that, we thank you, JWI. I'd like to have Allie talk to you about actually our program, JFS Hope. Allie, take it away.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. For those of you who are not familiar with Hope, we are one of many programs for Jewish Family Service of LA. We work solely with victims of domestic violence and their children and offer 24-hour a day, 7 days a week services. JFS Hope consists of 3 shelters, 2 community counseling centers. Our emergency shelter houses up to 18 persons or 5 to 6 families. Our transitional shelter houses up to 50 persons or 13 families. At our emergency shelter, a client and their children can stay 30 to 45 days The goal of emergency is seeking safety from a crisis situation, allowing clients to recover from trauma in a safe, stable, and nourishing environment. While in shelter, clients and their children receive individual counseling, group support nightly, case management, social and legal advocacy, and connections to any other JFS community. Sorry. Last year, to enhance our program, we added a dedicated children's therapist and an early childhood specialist, both who work with parents and children at the shelter. We are diverse in our staff and our clients. We even have 2 small kosher kitchens at 2 of our shelters to accommodate observing families. At Hope Transitional Shelter, our family can stay up to 2 years. The transitional shelter is about transitioning to independence, violence-free life. It is looking at long-term goals, economic stability, and permanent housing. Services at Hope Transitional are similar to those at emergency shelter: counseling groups, case management, and advocacy. Here, groups are held to help clients towards independent living, budgeting, meal planning, and job readiness skills. Services at shelters are provided on site. Our offers are offered on volunteer basis, and both counseling and residential services are free of charge. Here are some facts or some numbers to grab a hold of. Our 2 crisis hotlines handle over 7,000 calls annually. Through our 5 sites, we serve about 550 new victims and their children this past year. We facilitate 11 groups weekly. Our groups are co-ed and created out of our clients' needs. Groups are conducted in English and in Spanish. We have 1 group dedicated to victims over the age of 55, in long-term relationships, and mostly with grown children. This group was formed out of a need and saw at our counseling center over 8 years ago. We tried it, it worked, and it has been successful ever since. And that's pretty much our program in a nutshell.
Great. That's great. Gabby, did you want to add a few words?
Yes.
Great.
So my name is Gabriel Hassan, and for the last 4 years, I have worked with women and children in our Hope Transitional Shelter. I'm also a Jewish woman and a voracious reader and a great lover of books, so this gift is even more dear to my heart. When our families first come into shelter, they often present with high levels of anxiety and fear. Having left dangerous or unsafe environments, most of our families arrive in crisis with just a few belongings, and some of them just with the clothes on their backs. To some, leaving behind these non-essential items like toys or books may seem insignificant, but those of us who work directly with children affected by domestic violence know just how significant that really is. Our children have been forced to leave everything that is familiar behind. They often struggle with trust and letting their guards down, and therapy with these children can be challenging as a result. I have seen firsthand the power of a book within the therapeutic relationship. A few years ago, I had a little girl come into my office for the first time. She was so nervous. She had her hands clenched and looked so uncomfortable as she stood unspeaking in front of the chair. I noticed that she was looking around my office, and I saw that her eyes stopped suddenly on my bookshelf that my colleague Jessica and I keep stocked with books and games. Suddenly, I saw her eyes light up, a huge change from the somber girl that was there just a minute ago. Dora the Explorer, I had that book at home. She ran over and grabbed the book off the shelf and began to flip through it. This was the unexpected breakthrough, the common ground that I needed to establish rapport and trust in order to provide the safe place for healing to begin. I asked her to tell me about the book, what she liked about it, and our first session passed before we both realized it. This was the first of many sessions as this little girl and her family stayed at our shelter for over a year. We read so many books together. Books featuring characters experiencing different emotions and challenges made it easier for her to talk about her own. Books about all the wonderful places in the world created dreams and goals of places that she wanted to see when she was older. And sometimes we just read silly books to bring some joy on difficult days. Books became a significant part of our work together, and I will be forever grateful to Dora the Explorer, Crystal Kingdom. Another moment that had a huge impact on me was with a client I actually just ended with a few months ago. He was an 11-year-old boy struggling with being in his 4th shelter, sharing a room with his mom, online Zoom school, and not being able to see any of his friends and having to have left all of his toys and books behind. After 9 months in our program, his mother had been able to save enough money to secure permanent housing on her own. So he would be leaving our shelter soon. During our final session, I thanked him for his honesty, for his trust, and all of his hard work over the past months. I told him that I had a $25 gift card from JFS with which I could buy him anything he wanted from Target. And in today's day and age, truthfully, I expected him to say some kind of video game, but his request actually deeply, deeply moved me. He asked for the 2 latest book in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. He could have asked for toys, he could have asked for candy, something electronic, but what he really wanted for his prize was a book. I had them shipped to his house, and a few days later, his mom called to thank me. She described how excited he was to open a package addressed to him, and she said she has not seen him without his books in his hand ever since. It really made me wonder how many more children in our shelter would choose to have a book as their prize, or how many of our children in our program would read if they had the opportunity to. Our clients save every penny they have to ensure they have enough for their basic needs, and there's almost never enough money for extras like books or toys. Now with this incredible gift of a library from Jewish Women International, all of our children will have the opportunity and freedom to read whenever they want. The timing of this library donation is even more meaningful to us here in Los Angeles because all libraries in LA County are still closed to in-person access because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many of our families use local libraries as a free and safe place to bring their kids for a few hours of respite from their chaotic lives. They would often borrow books that they couldn't afford to buy on their own and took advantage of the calm and tranquil environment. It is such a blessing that we are now able to offer our own residents the same opportunity for the peaceful and comforting oasis without them having to leave their homes. Our children now have a place they can go when they need a break, when they need some quiet, or simply a chance to dream. There's a quote about books that I read once that has always stayed with me. Books give a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, and flight to the imagination, and life to everything. And so I want to thank you, not just for the books, the shelves, and other furniture, but for the years of comfort, peace, and the safe place for our children to explore that this library will provide to all of our families. Thank you.
Gabby, thank you so much. You and Allie were the perfect tag team on this, speaking from, the high perspective of what life is like and what your program is like, and then you drilling down on the stories of how a life is changed by a book or how a relationship is enhanced by books. And I thought about something that I may not have even mentioned here, and that is that as part of this project, we have something called the Restock the Shelves program. And once or twice a year, depending on, where things are in our donations, we actually restock the shelves of our newest libraries. We do that for one reason. One is to keep things going, but the other is we want to encourage you to let kids take books home to their new houses, to have books as part of that transition that maybe it becomes a small shelf of books that they're able to create once they get to their new home. But we really feel that that magic of books, if that love is ignited or continues to be ignited while children are in the shelter, it continues to be a powerful force once they move into their new home, and a peaceful place as well. So thank you both. And Karen, thank you for your lovely opening remarks. It just reminds us of, yeah, just how powerful the partnership is and how meaningful it is to all of us. I wanted now to do what is probably the hardest thing to do on Zoom, and that is to do a tour of any kind that requires moving a computer or laptop from place to place. And Allie's bravely volunteered, because she is in the beautiful new shelter, to do a tour and maybe tell us a little bit about how this space has been transformed.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, so I need to figure out where I can turn the camera. So yes, I'm definitely inside the library, and I'm going to open the door so you can see our beautiful sign we have made. So this is the sign on the door. So once you open the door, you come in and you see all these full shelves, bookshelves, with books of every kind: Spanish, English. They go from, baby books to toddlers to teens. We definitely decorated our walls, inspired by Dr. Seuss, and we have a couple of stickers all on our walls. We have a couple of rocking chairs so mom can read to baby. Of course, we can't forget about our teens that are having these projects that they have to do. So we have laptops that are connected to printers so they can do research. And then we have a round table in the center of the room. So, kids can be kids. They can read together. They can do homework together. Imagination is, it's going to be wonderful. I'm so excited to see the kids come in and enjoy the space. So yeah, this is our library.
It's fantastic. And I really have to say, I love the rug. The rug is, it's part of the, what we supply to the libraries, but it looks beautiful in the room. It really looks great.
Yeah, so we're super excited, and clients actually have been knocking on our doors. Can we go in the library now?
Well,
yes,
after our ribbon cutting, we'll be able to.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. And Allie, you mentioned something that I thought was great. I just wanted to reiterate, which is that through our partnership with First Book, and also working closely with JWI's lead staffer on this project, Marae, we have really honed in on our book selection, so that what we're really trying to do is, we're not just age appropriate books, but we're culturally appropriate books, we're language appropriate books, we're aspirationally and empoweringly appropriate books. We want kids to imagine the possibilities for their life, for them. We want them to see what they can be. And we also want them to feel the comfort of books that are in their own language. And so we're really proud of our work to hone in on, diversity, equity, inclusion, however you define it, books that are exciting and appropriate and empowering for all these kids who are reading. So
yes, thank you.
Yeah. And, just thinking of, thinking back, Gabby, to the anecdote that you shared earlier, I only want to add one thing, and that is the exponential opportunities that come from these libraries. And I have witnessed a JWI library with a mother who's never been in a library with her children. I've watched a mother read to her child who is plopped in her lap, and listening to a staffer say that mother had never had the confidence to read to her child because the mother couldn't read in English, and had never actually really learned to read in her native language. And so here she was sitting on the floor, and I was witnessing her turning the pages and telling a story to her child based on the pictures in the book. But having made a promise to the director of the shelter that she was enrolling in a literacy program, and that, for her children, she was gonna obtain the skills she needed to lift her own life up. And I know she did. And so it's exciting when you see the way libraries are really transformational. And so again, it's with hopefulness and enormous excitement that we're dedicating today's library. And I know, second to doing the tour, which, by the way, I thought you did a marvelous job. We're going to have you leading the touring of all the shelters we open up in the next couple of years. But hopefully, though, they won't continue to be virtual, because there's nothing better than being able to be there and touch those books and feel it. But the ribbon cutting is something that's a very special part of the ceremony. And I wonder if you would take it away for us today.
Yes, definitely. I actually have my staff that are so excited to participate in the ribbon cutting.
Great.
Let me see, open this door. Yes, here's some scissors. So I'm gonna try to turn the camera.
Great.
So I have my two case managers that are doing the the grand opening.
Yeah.
I'll hold it here. Okay.
Oh, this is great.
Thank you. So yes, again, this is our library, and our clients are very excited to finally be able to come and enjoy this space.
Great. Oh, so how will you officially let everyone in? Are you gonna have a afternoon where people can come in, or what do you have planned?
Yes, we actually have the library open for whenever the clients want to come. Like, they don't have to ask permission. If they when they want to come, they come in. And we just make sure at the end of the day we lock everything. We make sure everything's tidy and disinfected. Yes.
And so, wow. I know that probably everyone who is on this Zoom with us, I know Meredith and I as well, would only wish to be with you to watch all the kids come in this afternoon and look at every book that's brand new. I know earlier we were talking about what we remember about being the first one to take out a book, right, from our childhood libraries. And what an incredibly wonderful feeling it is to know you're the first one who gets to read that book.
Yes.
For these kids today, that will definitely be possible, and so that'll be great. Wonderful. Well, let's see. Any other thoughts or questions?
No, I think that's it. I'm so excited to, like you said, see, these kids reading the books and just, losing themselves in the stories.
Yeah. It's to be able at a time when COVID has taken away a lot from so many, and especially from children. Um, we have figured out coping mechanisms and we're all adults, but for these little kids who've missed the interaction and the social piece and now are, away from family, this is maybe something that is restorative and in so many ways. So I'm excited for your excitement. I know we all are, and I'm gonna turn it over now to Meredith to wrap up.
Thank you so much. I'm so moved by this. Like Lori said, I'm picturing you have the library is so neat and tidy, and it is my greatest wish that at the end of the day there are just books strewn all over the place from all the children coming in and playing. Gabby, I was thinking about what you said about how hard it is during COVID that the public libraries are closed, and I thought even more so how important it is that you all found a way to let us build this space, that you dedicated this space, that you set the time in this devastating year to make the library happen, because the families coming to you have experienced a greater level of violence than before because of COVID, and the children have experienced even more trauma because they've had no escape from what's been happening in their homes. So when you talked about the books being a path to healing, but also a path to joy and laughter and dreams, to me that's the gift of these libraries for the children and for the mothers. And I thank you for your partnership. Karen, you talked about hoping a JFS and about being so rooted in our Jewish values that resonated so deeply about our work at JWI being for all women, but being grounded in our Jewish values. And Ali, you talked about how you provide kosher kitchens for some of your clients. And JWI has been spending the past year doing a study of Jewish domestic violence service providers and agencies and programs, of which JFS Hope was a part of that. And I hope everybody on the call today joins us on April 27th as we reveal our findings and what's needed to support not only everyone in our community, but Jewish survivors of domestic violence. So I thank you for your partnership with that and how meaningful it is to us to connect with a sister organization. For all of you on the call, our work with our children's libraries doesn't end with the ribbon cutting. It begins. We work year round to make sure that our libraries have new books, so that the children, when they leave, can take their favorite book, whether it's Dora or Harry Potter or Dr. Seuss, whatever it may be. We make sure that there are laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots, not only so that in this time they can access their remote education, but then when they go back, they have the tools to succeed academically. And we make sure that the moms have access to our new financial literacy workshops and flowers, and the children have crafts to make Mother's Day special through our Mother's Day Flower Project, which also goes directly to support 250 shelters nationwide. So I hope this has inspired you to support our work with the shelters, be it through the National Library Initiative or the Flower Project. I thank you all for being here. I thank Senator Feinstein's staff. Thank you for making the time and for your leadership. Thank you again to Karen, to Ali, to Gabby, to everyone on your team. Thank you. to Lori for bringing this dream to JWI and everything you have done to make this happen. Just know we're inspired by your work, and you're dedicated to continuing to build as many libraries as we can. And to the fabulous Murray, who in your short time with JWI has made such an incredible impact, expanding our reach, as well as making sure that the books on those shelves are meaningful and important to the children. So I thank you all for being here. Please stay connected with us. Please be safe, be healthy, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.